Welcome to Better Business Podcast. My name is Alexei and I am your host. I want to talk to you today about some of the tips that some businesses can really benefit from, especially if you're starting out and you really need something to get some exposure and get some traction. Now, before I get started, if you're listening to this podcast, we must be doing a few things right. Make sure you spread the word. Make sure that you like us on whichever platform you listen to us on. It'd be also great to find out from you what is it that you prefer. We put our show on YouTube as well as obviously stream it through the major podcast services. But please make sure you spread the word and hit that like button so that you don't miss another episode. So let's get into some tips for small businesses. Well, I thought I'd mention a few different tips and align them with the various categories of people who are listening to our podcast. First, I want to start with some tips for startups. Now, one of the issues I see often is business names. Now, people choose business names based on a number of different things, and I think while you can name your business whatever it is that you want, some business names seem to work better than others. And I think overall, there should be a clear reason that should be aligned with a strategy behind your business name. Like, for example, I see some people registering a business name, which could be some sort of a group or some sort of a family name. And then when they start advertising, that business name doesn't really make any difference or doesn't really make any sense to the person viewing the ads. Like, for example, someone may have a business called, I don't know, ABC Group or something like that. And then suddenly they start advertising, and the advertising is not very clear while they're trying to push for a particular offer, because the business name doesn't really say anything about what they do. So they could be doing financial services or gardening for, but the business name just doesn't reflect that. Now, that makes things very difficult because people just don't understand what that ABC group may be all about. Instead, if you are running a business like that, or starting a business like that, I should say, you should probably call it exactly what the business does, whether it's external cleaning or whether it's accounting services and so on. And look, while it may sound fairly plain, business names is one of those things that you can change throughout the lifetime of a business. However, obviously, once you choose a business name, it's very difficult to change that in the future. And, I can certainly relate to it. I've named my business Your Easy Web Solutions back in the days because I thought that's exactly what the business would be doing. However, over time, the business has changed and we started focusing on marketing as opposed to just building websites, which obviously made it very difficult for us to change. Anyway, I guess the moral of the story is that if you are starting a business, try to call it something meaningful, or try to basically have a story behind the actual name so that it's easier for people to understand or engage with it. Like, for example, 99 Bikes. I've just recently found out that the reason why 99 Bikes is called that is because they initially started out of a shop that could actually only fit 99 bikes in the whole shop. So that's the reason for the name. And while you may think, well, it is quite limiting, there's a story to it, and how it grew basically resonates with that. So I guess this is one of those examples that, while it explains exactly what the business is, the 99 basically creates a little bit of an intrigue, if you like. Now, there are businesses like the 99 People, for example. I've recently seen one of those vans going around, and I thought I'd find out what this business is all about. And they do a whole bunch of different trade services, but they angle is that there's nothing over $99. Now, the 99 Bikes and the 99 People just basically, resonated side by side, which is why I'm mentioning them. But that is their selling point, because obviously if you're after that budget market and you're not charging any more than $99, that is a great way to attract your target market. However, I think, in terms of the specifics of the business, that's where there may be a little bit of a problem, but it all really depends on the whole marketing strategy behind it. Anyway, I think it's a really good way to capture the audience and make it easy for the people to understand what the business is all about. Another business name that I wanted to briefly mention is Netflix. Now, Netflix has been around for quite some time. In fact, I think it's 25 years this year that they've actually been in business. They started out initially in 1997, and it took them a long time to get off the ground. There's been obviously a lot of technological challenges for that business, but very few people know that Netflix actually wasn't called Netflix when it started. It was actually called Kibble, and Kibble was the name that one of the founders actually had registered, and I think they had a domain name for it as well, like kibble.com or something like that, if I remember correctly. But moral of the story is that Netflix has evolved quite a fair bit. And the whole thing was about really those internet flicks, the films, the movies, that was the whole idea. So to sort of describe what it did, but in a very, casual way. The whole business has worked as a video on demand service, but not in the way that you think. They used to do the whole mailing of DVDs in the mail across all of the US. In fact, I think they went international, and then they basically kicked off their streaming platform, which became super, super successful. But up until now, they're the leaders in a space, and I think Netflix, the actual name, really sells the whole concept quite well. Now, we obviously now are getting bombarded by various versions or kickoffs Netflix. And look, while some of them have got great content, and probably we don't really care too much about what the business is called, as long as we get the good content. I think starting out initially did require a pretty good brand name in order to kick that off. But look, they're also pioneers within their time as well. Anyway, I hope you get the point. I think when you're starting out a business, having a good business name or having a story within the business name would definitely work. That's my tip for you for today. Now, when it comes to marketing, I think this is one of those things that's pretty straightforward. However, for some people, for some reason, people skip this part or potentially don't really spend enough time on it. I want to talk specifically about Google Business. In fact, this is probably the best tip for tradies, because I find that there's quite a few trades that start doing contractor work, and then from there they're looking for work, but people can't really find them. Or if people do tell their friends about the particular service, the first thing that people would do is Google them up. And if a business has no website or nothing, the only thing that can really come up quite efficiently is Google My Business. And most businesses actually skip this part. So if you're starting out, don't have a website, or you basically have been around for a while, don't really need a digital presence or anything like that, but you're thinking, hey, what can I do to, get a few extra inquiries in 2023? Well, I think Google Business is probably the easiest thing that you could jump into. So make sure you go and claim your business listing or create one. You'd be surprised that there's actually quite a lot of abandoned Google Business accounts, because initially Google started off the whole thing by scraping Yellow Pages data. And as a result, there were a lot of these abandoned accounts. But obviously, if people claim their accounts, they could adjust them from there. But if there isn't one, go create one. It's free. It's business.google.com. That's the website you want to go to. And you basically just need to complete your profile the best you can. Make sure you write a meaningful description and add the actual keywords that relate to your services. Make sure you add products and services, because there's actually quite a few extra features in there. By the time you listen to it, I wouldn't be surprised if Google adds anything else in there. Make sure that you add your photos in there, your logo, any photos of your team, or basically photos of your work. Before and afters particularly work well for tradies. And then once this profile is complete and verified, and typically they will do it over a phone call or by sending you a card in the mail. Yes, it looks like junk mail, I know, so you may need to do it a couple of times to claim it. And the process is quite simple. You get a 6 or 7 digit code that you have to enter, and then from there it's live. Now, once you get it, you basically need to make sure that you're getting reviews. So reviews is one of those things that can be difficult. However, it'll only be as difficult as you want it to be. I think most of the time people don't get reviews because they don't ask for reviews. And we've had a whole podcast episode with Carl Schwantes, who runs 5-star reviews. And there's a wealth of information in that podcast. So check it out if you get a moment. But I guess the biggest thing is, make sure that you are systematically approaching the whole review process, and ask your clients in a timely manner to leave a review. And I guess, with the past customers, it may be as easy as doing a follow-up call or sending out an email to ask people for reviews, because if you've done a good job, people usually have no problem spending a few minutes to leave you a review. And the review is a simple component that really creates trust around your business. So if you're in business and someone recommends you, and the first thing that people would normally do is Google you up, you do want them to see those good reviews. That's the main thing. Now, I know that a lot of people prefer to use Facebook and stuff, and then maybe reviews on Facebook. Well, Google Business goes and consolidates all those presences, whether you're using Facebook, High Pages, OneFlare, or anything else, and then puts it all under that one profile. So I think it's super, super important to have that Google Business profile set up. So make sure you set it up and make sure that you have that all accurately updated as your business develops. And if you can get a website, make sure you add to it in the future as well, or vice versa. You may have a Google Business or the website first. Make sure that it's all connected. I definitely recommend most of my customers to have a link from their website to the Google My Business. This sort of allows Google to easily understand that the two are connected. Anyway, that's another topic altogether, but make sure you claim your business and you optimize it. Now, the last tip I want to give you today is really more about the sales side of things. I find that a lot of the time, businesses are really looking for, quick wins, if you like. And I think that when you're getting inquiries about your service, that's great. But if you're getting an inquiry about your service based on an offer, that's even better. So if you include some sort of an offer like same day quote or 10% quote bid guarantee, you have a bit of a strategy behind that. That typically generates much better inquiries in the sense that you know what these people are after. And if you're able to streamline those and have those conversations carried out in a certain way, typically your conversion rate would be a lot higher. I think first of all, if you have your sales process somehow captured and presented within your marketing, you're going to be getting better leads. And I think, a lot of businesses do things in a very unique way, which actually makes it really difficult for the competitors to copy, but they don't advertise it as much. And I think this is one of the missed opportunities. Like, for example, the 10% quote bid guarantee is really quite a lucrative way. You're not really giving anything away. In fact, the only way to validate this is for people to get another quote from someone else. Where really it appears for people to be, you're a lot more affordable than the other businesses. So have a think about how you may potentially squeeze in something like that in your business and make it work specifically in line with sales. I think another thing I'd like to touch on in terms of sales process is a lot of the time when people call, they ask for the price because they really know nothing else about your business. And if you're able to qualify them better and identify the gap as to why they're calling specifically, you'll be able to capture some really important information to understand the motivation behind that inquiry, which actually allows you to create trust. So, for example, we have a client who does asbestos removal. And when people usually call up about asbestos removal, they typically are doing something else. And if you are to address this query just as asbestos removal, you're really missing the point. So a lot of the time people want to get rid of asbestos because they're renovating. So there's actually another project that's happening and there is a timeline and a price to it as well. So the whole conversation changes from just talking about the price to the actual deadlines and what it is that they're actually doing. So you can actually understand the budgets for the customer and really what they're trying to achieve in the end. And if you're able to assist them in other ways, you'll be able to create additional avenues in your business or at least identify the price points a lot better as well. Now, our customers been able to partner with a renovation company and actually include additional services in that. So there's extra opportunities within the sales process if you know how to approach it and how to identify that gap, if you like. Now, there's a ton of literature on this whole topic, but I think if you want to go and study this more, there is a book called The Gap Selling, which actually talks about identifying that, capturing the motivation, the why, if you like, and really take your sales to another level as well. Anyway, I thought we'd touch on a few things today because I think giving out some tips can certainly get you moving in the right direction, or at least get you thinking in the right direction. More than happy to answer any questions, and if you guys got any anything to add, please comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my podcast. And I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks.